Well, 3,300 years ago, Moses instructed our fathers. He said, "You shall not have in your bag diverse weights, a great and a small. And you shall not have in your house diverse measures, a great and a small, but you shall have a perfect and a just weight. A perfect and a just measure shall you have." Well, our founding fathers at the Constitutional Convention back in 1787 followed that scriptural principle of law when they put into our Constitution, "No state shall make anything but gold or silver coin a tender in payment of debts." That's at Article 1, Section 10. Now, in 1933, President Roosevelt took our gold away. And then in 1964, President Johnson took our silver coin out of circulation. And now, in place of just weights and balances, these two presidents introduced our current practice of the first, second, and fifth planks of the Communist Manifesto into our monetary system. They gave us Federal Reserve notes in place of gold-backed Treasury bills. They gave us clad coinage in place of silver coins. And now, in the intervening 70 years or so, we Americans have gone from being the world's #1 creditor nation until today we're the world's #1 debtor nation. The Creator of the universe practices "thou shalt not steal." He does not steal from people. He's not a thief. Congress is. Congress will enact laws and then exempt themselves from it. That's hypocrisy. This God is not a hypocrite. He practices his own law. There's no such thing as absolute freedom. That's license. That's licentiousness. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist on the planet, doesn't exist on any planet, doesn't exist in this universe. Now, we do practice that hypocrisy on planet Earth, but that's coming to an end. And it has a result, and that result's all bad. If you want to practice that all bad practice and get an all bad result, well, go to it. Well, that's part of the choice. That's what free men have to choose. Free men have the power to choose. Now, the Creator of the universe has given all of us this capacity to choose. You can choose what master you're going to serve. You can serve the United States Army. You can serve the United States of America. You can serve the Creator of the universe. And in fact, that guy tells you, this Creator, he says, no man can serve two masters. So if you think you can be a soldier in the army and practice the law of God, you got your head up the wrong end there, soldier. You can be religious, you can go to church, and you can take communion, but you cannot practice the law of God in the army. They won't allow it. It ain't going to happen there. You soldiers in the army are not going to practice the Passover or the Feast of Tabernacles in the army. They don't allow that. Now, you can choose Passover and Feast of Tabernacles, but not as a soldier. If you think you can do it, get after it. But I don't know if that's good for you or not. But I'm telling you that the good news is that there's a choice for you to make, and you can make it anytime you want. And it's provided for here in the United States by our Supreme Court and our Congress. It's Public Law 97-280 and Seeger versus United States, or it's actually United States versus Seeger, cited at 380 U.S. 163. So the government of the United States is all in favor of you obeying God and keeping His commandments. And they told you that you ought to do that. See? God told you that you ought to obey the 10 Commandments. Congress said you ought to practice the 10 Commandments. And the Supreme Court of the United States says you ought to practice the 10 Commandments. Now, of course, your Congress and your Supreme Court and your President will do everything in their power to dissuade you from doing that. So I suspect that it was God that created Seeger and Public Law 97-280. That's to give you and me and everybody else the opportunity to make that choice. Now, the opposite to slavery is freedom. The opposite to the 10 planks to the Communist Manifesto is the 10 Commandments. Now, voting is a guardian-ward relationship. When you vote, you're voting for a political guardian. Well, I have a political guardian. It's called the Creator of the universe. He gave me the 10 Commandments, and he said, you shall have no other gods before me. You practice my law. In Leviticus chapter 18. He said, now, obey my laws. Do not obey the laws of Egypt, Texas, or the United States. You practice my law. You practice the Feast of Tabernacles. Don't practice Christmas. Now, the bad news is we're in for an ass kicking. That's the bottom line. And we're getting it from our Creator. Now, there's no such thing as a broken law without a penalty, which is the Ten Commandments, which we Americans practiced, you Englishmen practiced, you Canadians and Australians practiced this in your countries. And then at some point in time, you deviated from that and you went to the 10 planks to the Communist Manifesto. Now, take a look at it and ask yourself, is this what you really wanted? Let's take this heavy progressive or graduated income tax. I teach a class, I teach a school here. It's a 5-day school on income tax. Income tax is a tax for slaves. It's not a tax for freemen. Now, if you want to practice a slave tax called the income tax, get after it. Now, your God told you not to do that. And then you said, nope, that's what I'm going to do. Well, okay, it's a choice that you made. It's just like when you joined the Army. Now, all you soldiers, you chose that. If you got injured over there or killed, hey, that was your choice. So if you're a young person in high school and you think you want to join the Marines and you're going to go over here and cut a fat hog in the back and join the Army and go over here and be a real hero and kill people, let me tell you that you're not designed that way. You can't go out here and kill people and blow people up without having psychological scars. And most people that I've talked to that have been into battle, been into combat, will tell you that they suffer psychological trauma. They've never been the same since from that. When you make that choice and you want to go serve in the Army and you want to go out and kill people and blow people up and one thing and another, well, there's going to be a result that comes from that. So you might want to take that into consideration before, you make that decision. If you can learn to be a communist, you can learn to be a non-communist. If you're opposed to the Ten Commandments, if you're opposed to the Bible and opposed to God, this is not for you. I know a lot of people say, well, America is a Christian nation. Well, maybe it was at one time, but it isn't today. I told you, secular humanism is the official religion of the United States. It comes right out of the Supreme Court of the United States. Secular humanism. Evolutionary philosophy has trumped Christianity. I think that as a Christian, I think you'll do better if you'll practice thou shalt not steal than you will practicing the abolition of all right to property and land. I don't care if you're a Muslim, a Christian, a Jew. You practice the 10 Commandments and you'll make more money than you will practicing the 10 planks to the Communist Manifesto. That was my experience. That's been my observation. I'm an old man. I've been watching people for years. And what I see is the people that practice the laws of God, the 15 economic laws in the Bible, the guys that practice that set of laws make more money. And Bill Gates practices those laws. That's why he's filthy rich. Oh, he may advocate communism. I'm not saying that he doesn't. But the filthy rich people, they practice the principles of property and property rights because that's where money comes from. And the people that don't practice property and property rights stand in line to share the shortage. And that's where you people are today, standing in line to share the shortage. Now, the Bible and the Creator, He practices Feast of Tabernacles, and Christmas is a counterfeit. So the communist government, which is anti-religion, that's their official position, we're anti-religion, are opposed to Christian philosophy. They've got an official Christian church. You can belong to the official communist state Christian church. Okay. Now, if you don't want to belong to that church, then you're going to belong to a counterfeit Christian church. That's what the government sees it. And you're practicing, Christmas, Easter, and New Year's. So here's what your problem is. You're in violation of the law. And Jesus asked this question in Luke 6:46. It's a rhetorical question. He says, "Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not the things which I say?" Hey, listen, kids, we can follow the laws of Jesus. We can do what Jesus tells us. Let me give you an illustration here. In Matthew chapter 4, verse 4, he says, "Man doesn't live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God." That's a direct citation from Deuteronomy 8, verse 3 from the Old Testament. See, the Christians will tell you, do not listen to the Old Testament. It's abolished and done away with. Jesus didn't know that. Jesus didn't believe that. Jesus didn't teach that. He taught the exact opposite. So that tells you a little something right there. That what you learn in Christian church is the exact opposite from the Scripture. And that's a choice for you to make. And if you want to believe it and practice it, get after it. I'm not here to change it. I'm just here to tell you that there's going to be an outcome that comes from that. And the God of heaven is not going to protect you. The God of heaven, that is the Creator, the Creator of Adam and Eve, the guy that said, "Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery, and you shall have no other gods before me." That's the guy I'm telling you about. So, you got a choice to make here, and I'm gonna make another suggestion. I teach a school here called the Mosaic Law. And in the Mosaic Law, there are 759 statutes, judgments, and commandments. And I know somebody's going to write me a letter and say, no, there's 613. I got it right from the Jews. Well, the Jews are right. There are 613 laws in the Bible. Now, you're a little bit short. There's some more. And if you add in the ones that you're short there, you'll come up with 759. And there could be 784. I might have missed some. The Jews missed some. I found some that they missed. I'm up to 759. Now in the judgment, God might say, no, Gordon, you got that wrong. There was 786. I don't know. And I'll say, well, gee, boss, show me the rest of them. Now, there's 759 of these statutes, judgments, and commandments, and they're all predicated upon the Ten Commandments. Now, if you'd like to learn how to do that law, we teach that all 759 statutes, 133 titles of law, those 10 commandments. I'll show you how to do that. Nobody's going to kill you. That's the facts of life. And Jesus was not a Christian, and Jesus did not practice Christian theology. Christian theology comes from Mithraism. Roman Catholicism is an outgrowth of Mithra, the god Mithra. And that's what Christianity is all about. You people practicing Christmas, Easter, New Year's, you're practicing sun worship. You Christians are practicing sun worship, the worship of the sun. And that's why the Muslims are killing you. And that's why your Creator, the Creator of the universe, is opposed to you. That's why He brings hurricanes on you and tsunamis. That's why we're facing this great tribulation, all this bad news. All right, that's just my report, giving you that report. Now, if you stop doing that, which you can stop anytime you want, then that won't happen to you anymore. Now, here in Leviticus 26, He gives you a little bit more good news here. And listen to this. Starting in verse 40. If they shall confess their iniquity, and the iniquity of their fathers, with their trespass which they have trespassed against me, that you're practicing communists, and that also they have walked contrary unto me, that is, you will not practice the Ten Commandments, and that I also have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into this land of their enemies. If then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and they then accept of the punishment of their iniquity, then will I remember my covenant with Jacob, and also my covenant with Isaac, and also my covenant with Abraham. Will I remember, and I will remember the land. The land also shall be left of them, and shall enjoy her Sabbaths, while the land lies desolate without them, and they shall accept of the punishment of their iniquity, because they despised my judgments, and because their soul abhorred my statutes. Hey, you people out in California, got these 1,000 fires running out there? You people will not practice the land Sabbath. And because you won't practice the land Sabbath, your land is being turned into desolation right in front of your eyes. When you get tired of that, when you finally get enough, and when you accept of the punishment of your iniquity, well, then God will say, okay, hey, I don't hate you, but your conduct is unacceptable. And your Christmas, your Easter, your New Year's, your sodomy, Your Mardi Gras is unacceptable behavior. That's the bottom line.